Hey there, YouTube. I wonder if anybody would ever name their kid YouTube. Like, you know how a lot of days, or a lot of times these days, like celebrities will name their kids kind of like weird names to try to be like unique or original, I guess. I wonder if anyone in the history of the world would ever name their offspring YouTube, like legally. Because I'm always saying, like, for a while now when I start my videos, I'm like, hi, hey YouTube. Because I don't really know who might be watching me, really. So it's kind of like generalization. Like, I will probably never have a child at this point, at least not of my own, like biologically. I would consider adoption maybe at some point in the future if circumstances like would allow, or if things just like, I don't know, depending on how things go. But you know, I'm definitely getting older, and just realistically, it seems like it probably won't work out for me to have my own biological kids, which I guess in some ways might be for the best, just with how crazy the world can be. And you know, I myself am quite likely rather a bit crazy as well on top of that. So, but anyways, I've thought for a while now, if I were to ever have a child, a kind of unique, like different kind of name that I might want to consider naming them, I think would be Bravery. Because Avery, like A-V-E-R-Y, Avery is a name, I'm pretty sure. I've heard that before. So why not just put a B in front of it? Bravery. I think that has a nice sound to it. I'm sure it's been done before, but if not, maybe somebody will watch this someday and do that. I think that, I don't know, it sounds kind of cool to me. Anyways, I actually wasn't thinking of starting this video off that way. It seems kind of random, but anyway. Sometimes weird little random things just pop into my head. Why not say them out loud if I'm already on camera anyway? All right, weird start to this video. let's ready, action. Okay, so it's Tinka Tuesday today. I'm here at the club. I just got here. It's about to be 2 o'clock on the dot, in less than a minute, it looks like. The sun is out today, which is nice because we did have like a blizzard pretty much yesterday. Oh gosh, that really took a lot out of me, that blizzard yesterday. I mean, oh, 2 o'clock on the dot. Okay, well, anyway, 2 o'clock on the dot, Tinka Tuesday, sun is shining. Yeah, going into that blizzard yesterday, I was already PMSing. You know, I am right now, obviously, too, but and then I had to do a lot of shoveling before my shift at the club yesterday. Usually the plow people will plow the front of the driveway, but they didn't yesterday, so that was a lot of extra shoveling that I had to do in order to even just be able to get out and come into the club yesterday. And then when I got to the club yesterday, technically I got here around 2:30 and I signed in at 2:30 before I started my video on here for yesterday. But since I was doing my video before my shift yesterday, like I usually try to do, I didn't actually get into the club until I think shortly after 4, which that's the time that I normally come into the club lately, but even getting here shortly after 4 or going in shortly after 4, because like I said, I was technically here at like 2:30, so well before that, but yeah, even going in shortly after 4, I was still the only dancer on shift. And I was the only dancer on shift here for like the first, I think over 3 hours. So from like 4 until 7 p.m. And then 7 p.m. is pretty much the time that night shift starts. So I think shortly after that, the second dancer finally came in. So there was finally somebody else like for dancers here besides myself. But even after that, it was only her and I, just the two of us, for almost the rest of the entire shift. And then I think maybe around like 10 or 11 or so, a third dancer came in. So at most, there were 3 of us. No other dancers came in that I was aware of or that I saw anyway. So yeah, it was just the 3 of us for the entire shift until we closed. I did stay until closing time, and I was also wearing my 8-inch heels up until 11. So I wore my 8-inch heels from 4 until 11. So I think that's about 7 hours. And I'm very OCD with numbers. So because they're 8-inch heels and I was at 7 hours, I was like, oh, maybe I should just try to get 8 hours since they're 8-inch heels. But no, I was not going to do that. Not even for the numbers. Like I was so ready to take those 8-inch heels off, because part of why up until then, I hadn't worn my 8-inch heels for quite a while, and for a reason. You know, I used to be able to do really good in those not that long ago, but these days I'm hurting. I really am. You know, this winter, every winter just like kicks my arse pretty much, but this winter especially is just, it really is life destroying or existence destroying. Not that most of my circumstances and existence has really been that great otherwise, but I was doing pretty good at the club actually before winter. Like, not as good as I have in the past, obviously, but especially for pushing 40 and like with a lot of how my circumstances have been, I was doing pretty good. Going upside down on the pole in a corset. Technically, I've still done that a few times this winter, but oh God, I wouldn't try to do it now. I don't think. Now I'm like thinking like, should I? But no, I've really been hurting lately. Just there's I don't know, it's hard to explain. There's a lot of stuff that I'm still able to do, but there's a lot of stuff that I just don't feel, I don't know if I can still do it or not, because I don't feel up to like trying it right now, and I haven't for a little while. Just, oh gosh. But anyway, so when I was wearing the 8-inch heels for the first 7 hours of my shift yesterday, I actually did do pretty good in those, I want to think. I was really apprehensive and really anxious, wearing those since I haven't for a while. And, I know it's only a 1-inch difference. Normally lately I've been wearing 7-inch heels, and 7-inch heels, even though it's only 1-inch difference, it's a world of difference for me. It's day and night. It's so different. I feel, I don't want to say invincible, but I feel, I guess in comparison to how I feel in the 8-inch heels. Lately, when I try to wear the 8-inch heels, I feel like Bambi or like a baby deer, like that I was just born and like first learning how to walk. Like just every step is terrifying, every movement, every motion is terrifying, and just like feels very volatile and just very dangerous. Whereas with the 7-inch, like I can fly around the stage. I could run across the room in the club. I could run across like all over the place in my 7 inches. Again, it's 1 inch difference, but that 1 inch can really, really, for me anyway, make a world of difference. Just so different. I can't stress it enough. But I mean, regardless of how difficult and dangerous it felt for me wearing the 8 inches yesterday, part of why I did dare to try to wear them again yesterday and last night for most of that shift was because I kind of just knew, or I figured with the blizzard it was going to be pretty slow, and I was definitely right about that. So I tried to, I guess in a way, make the best of that as best I could by just trying to get in that little bit of practice, or it really felt like a lot of practice actually, back in the 8-inch heels. And for a lot of that shift, especially like the first, 7 hours pretty much. So most of that shift, I was flying around the stage. I was dancing really fast. I was getting in my like quick steps. That's what I call that style of dancing. So I was in the zone. I felt like I was going pretty ham, dancing very fast, taking a lot of risks, and the difficulty level was definitely turned up almost all the way, it felt like, for me with that. But I think a big part of that too is my favorite mentor was here, and I mean, when I first got to the club, like when I first got here yesterday, it was just his car in the parking lot, and then just his car and my car. And there was, I think, 2 other employees here. So there was this floor host that actually came out to my car like 3 times during my video to try to like ask me to like go back, like to go into the club, because there were a few people, like a few customers. He's really nice. And then there was a bartender who honestly I don't even know who that was. I'm not familiar with them that I can recall. I was like kind of looking at them from across the room and I was like, who is that? Like, are they new? Like, I didn't recognize her. But anyway, so I'm pretty sure it was just the 4 of us for, yeah, most of that shift for a while there. But I felt like I was doing pretty good, but I could feel the difficulty level. I could feel the risk I was taking, and going into that, I had already just done so much shoveling, and but it looks like that video did post properly, which was nice. And I haven't had a chance to watch that video back yet. I did work until close last night. I forgot to try to get my thumbnail at the start of that video like I usually try to do. So I skipped briefly last night. I was barely able to find the time to do this, but towards the end of the shift last night, I skipped forward towards the end of it because I realized I wasn't going to get a thumbnail from the beginning. And then I remembered that I had showed my 8-inch heels, the ones that I was wearing yesterday. I actually showed them on camera in that video. So I fast forwarded to where the spot that I thought that I was showing the shoes, and just took a screenshot of that for the thumbnail, which I'm a little embarrassed because those shoes have, like myself, they've seen better days and they're very beat up, but they're still functional, you know. I want to think they seemed functional enough last night and yesterday. So, but they're really gross. Like, I could have at least made a point like to clean them, like the plastic part, like the straps. They kind of get grimy and like foot gunk like in the straps, and literally all it takes to clean that is like a Q-tip or just like a paper towel with rubbing alcohol or whatever. I don't know why I don't think to do stuff like that. It's not it's kind of that I don't think to do it until, well, I guess I don't really think to do it until after the fact, or I'm just always in such a rush, and I always get freaked out about, like, losing my stuff or my stuff being taken from me. I'm pretty sure a few things have gone missing from my car and my locker at the club. So, and yeah, yesterday when I was trying to find those shoes that I was wearing yesterday and that I showed in my video yesterday, I mean, I added the snowflake pattern, like rhinestone. I'm really proud of those shoes because I'm just so proud of how the decoration that I put on them came out, like little snowflake patterns. But when I looked for them, I hadn't worn them for a while until yesterday. And yeah, just because I hadn't been wearing 8-inch heels in general for a while until yesterday. So when I first tried to find them in the trunk of my car, I couldn't really find them at first, and I really had to dig around for them. And, you know, at first I was really anxious that I wasn't going to be able to find them. So when I did find them, I was just so anxious to show them on the camera, like right away. Like I didn't want to wait. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to wait for